Welcome to Healing with Heart. Simple ideas for profound healing. These videos are meant for informational purposes only, not intended to diagnose or treat medical conditions. Hey guys, Dr. Martin Hart here. Today I just want to take a minute and answer a question a patient gave me on Facebook about cold sores. So let's talk a little about cold sores. So cold sores are the little fever blisters you can get on your lip or sometimes around your nose. Sometimes they'll be on other parts of your skin, but usually it's mouth, nose, mucous membranes like that. The virus that causes that is the HSV virus, the herpes simplex virus. Okay, so there's different types. There's the other type that can give you genital herpes, but technically they are different viruses, well, different strains of the virus. Okay, so it is a viral infection. From what we can tell in research is that once you have the infection, it doesn't tend to go away. Usually people pick it up in childhood from a family member, a mom or a dad. It gets passed on, sharing same cups or getting a kiss on the cheek or whatever, and then you get infected with the virus. Usually what that looks like is you get a cold. You may not have even a blister outbreak the first time you get exposed to the virus, but you do get a typical viral illness. And then from there, it likes to live in a nerve tissue. So another strain in that family of virus is like shingles, right? It's a similar type of virus. And so you'll notice that when somebody has a shingles outbreak, it'll come across like a nerve root or along the back, along the nerve root, right? So, but the virus likes to live in nerve tissue quite a bit. And then later on in life, if you get stressed or you get too run down, you may end up with a blister that comes back later. You'll end up with that little fever blister, that cold sore. It's very tender. It doesn't look great, right? The area is all inflamed. So what can we do about that? Well, we know it's caused by a virus. But the number one thing that lowers our immune system, that allows that virus to come back out, is stress. Okay, so number one with the HSV virus or cold sores is dealing with stress is going to be number one. Okay, so of course, if you watch my videos for any time, you know I'm a big fan of the tapping. Pick one spot, tap on your sternum's a big one, tap on the hands to deal with the stress. So whatever you're stressed in life, start dealing with it right away, right as they show up. And journaling that out can be a big helper too. So dealing with the stress. Okay, that's number one. Number two is having a good nutrient status. Eating lots of good green leafy vegetables, keeping your protein sources great is going to be helpful. But in that front, one nutrient that helps to proliferate viruses, helps to sometimes activate them, could be arginine, right? So if I know I'm under a lot of stress, I'll typically avoid high arginine foods in that time so I don't get a cold sore. So that might look like things like nuts, like almonds and peanuts and beans are all going to be really high in arginine. Chocolate is going to be another one. Those are going to be really high arginine foods. Now the flip side of that is that L-lysine, another amino acid, actually helps to downregulate the virus and block some arginine absorption, right? So using L-lysine can be a really big help with the cold sores for people who suffer with them. It helps the body deal with the cold sores better. And I also find, because the L-lysine is really important for connective tissue repair, that I keep taking it even after it seems like the cold sore is gone a little bit, just to help the skin heal better, okay? Because the L-lysine really helps to repair that connective tissue that's in there. So that's a big one. So watching out for stress, high arginine foods are another. And then anything that can be a big exposure, like suddenly getting chapped lips and a lot of direct sun exposure is going to stress that tissue, can be a big one. So keeping your lips moisturized is helpful, especially in the winter months or as the summer is starting to emerge and maybe you're getting a little sunburnt on the lips. That can be a big boost there to help you out. So that's another route. The other thing is just keeping your other nutrients like vitamin D and magnesium flowing well. Those are big helpfuls. Now, if somebody does get a cold sore, so for instance, this is what I do if I get a cold sore, or if I feel like the tingle's coming, and I notice this helps, if I can get used to that feeling of tingle coming, a lot of times I can knock this out right away. I'll start taking L-lysine right away. I'll start taking vitamin C right away, okay? Those are going to be very helpful directly, okay? I'll cut out arginine foods immediately. I'll start dealing with my stress. I'll start tapping. I'll start journaling on whatever's happening in life. I'll try to make sure I'm getting enough sleep, taking my magnesium or adaptogens to help with stressors in my life. I'll make sure I'm getting vitamin D in. And then topically, I'll use peppermint oil or Melissa oil, but usually peppermint oil I find works best. okay? And I keep the area really clean. And if I have the opportunity, I'll use the hyperbaric chamber as well. If I can get ahead of that, usually I'll never get to the blister stage, okay? But with that mix, I found that even if it does get to the blister stage, it heals much faster. Typically in the past, I was always a 10 to 14 day person. I got the blister, it took 10 to 14 days for it to go away. And if I never dealt with the stress, and this made it even more stressful, as soon as that one healed, I'd get another one until I dealt with the actual stressor. So that's why I say stress is the number one thing to deal with when it comes to cold sores. Okay, so let's recap really quick. So a cold sore we know is caused by a virus that lays dormant in our body. Stress tends to be the number one trigger for it. High arginine foods can as well. And then other things like amino acids like lysine, taking the nutrient vitamin C, vitamin D can all be very helpful. Peppermint oil is going to be great on that front topically. And then I've also used some different herbs that are known to be antiviral, like skullcap or andrographis. I'll take those internally, let them sit as long as I can under my tongue, although they're pretty and get pretty warm underneath there, so I can really get absorbed in the bloodstream around my lips and things like that if I happen to have one. Can also be very helpful. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little segment here on cold sores. If you get them, please follow some of this advice, especially the stress and the L-lysine bit, because that can be very, very helpful. If you know anyone you would share this with, I would greatly appreciate it. Take care.